Out of sight, out of mind. Gerald Cullen walked quickly out of the optometrist's office on Clark Street and began walking north at a brisk pace. Pedestrians in the loop are often in a hurry, but Jerry was outpacing them all. With swinging arms and extended strides, he passed businessmen, traders, even couriers, as if he was in a two-legged Grand Prix. Jerry looked from side to side at storefronts and up at the buildings that towered above and pronounced them all to be amazing and incredible over and over again. People on the street began to clear a path for Jerry. They assumed him to be a recent arrival from Peoria or perhaps slightly crazy. In fact, he was neither. The cause of his enthusiasm was a new pair of glasses. "You know you've canceled your appointments 2 years in a row, Jerry," Dr. Glissendorf had said the previous afternoon. I know, whined Jerry, with real remorse. "It's just that we're so busy right now." "Of course you realize that glaucoma and cataracts occur very slowly, but they progress steadily. 2 years of damage may already have been done, Jerry." Having known him since the 3rd grade at St. Stanislav Kostka School, Dr. Glissendorf knew how susceptible Jerry was to suggestion. So powerful was his hypochondria that merely mentioning the disease by name was enough to cause Jerry to develop symptoms of the illness. Jerry felt a shriek rising in his chest and struggled to suppress it. In a restrained and measured voice, he told the doctor, "I will certainly be there tomorrow." Jerry hung up the phone and bit his knuckle. All that was forgotten today. Jerry felt on top of the world. "Incredible! Amazing!" he said again. Having taken half the day off from work in case the exam had gone badly, there was plenty of time to stop for coffee and to read the newspaper. With his old glasses in his shirt pocket and a complimentary copy of the Wall Street Journal folded under his arm, Jerry headed towards Liegenberry, his favorite place for breakfast. As he approached the restaurant, he could see Sylvia, his regular waitress, through the window. He smiled and waved excitedly to her through the glass. She saw him and waved back. But as he reached the door, he saw that she had rolled her eyes and wore an expression of disdain. "What's that about?" thought Jerry. "Anywhere you like, Jer," said Sylvia, waving her hand grandly at the half-empty dining area, while smiling just a little too hard. Jerry took a booth at the front window, righted a coffee cup on its saucer, and reached for a menu. Sylvia came over and began to pour coffee. She stopped pouring almost as soon as she had begun in response to Jerry's pained expression. What? She asked, rather annoyed. Jerry pointed to the coffee cup. There was a faint trace of lipstick on it. Sylvia rolled her eyes again. "It's just been through the washer," she said impatiently. I know. Jerry's voice tailed off in an apologetic whine. Sylvia set a new cup down noisily and resumed pouring. "What'll it be today, Jer?" "This is new. Buffalo steak and eggs. How's that?" he inquired. Sylvia stood there blinking in disbelief and trying to compose herself before answering. I haven't, eaten meat, in 10 years." Although she was born and raised in Chicago, Sylvia liked to affect an accent that was once referred to as Valley Girl before it became the standard intonation of the youth culture. Her sentences ended in an inflection that suggested she was asking a question rather than making a statement. She began speaking again. "I don't eat meat." Her voice was becoming louder and louder. "Because, meat is like murder." Her hands were clenched and she was breathing hard. Everyone in the restaurant had turned to watch the drama. Jerry closed his eyes and tried to wish himself somewhere else. When he opened them, he was still in the booth. "How about a cheese omelet?" he said softly. Sylvia wrote down his order and spun on her heel in anger. Jerry hid behind the Wall Street Journal. He never bought the Journal, but someone had slid a copy under the door of every unit in his building that morning. He had foregone his usual stop at the newsstand for a Sun-Times. Jerry was reading the story on page 3 when he felt the restaurant go quiet. He lowered the paper to find Sylvia standing in front of him, hands on hips, tapping her foot. I knew it! The Wall Street Journal, Jer!" She spat with contempt. "You're a Republican, aren't you?" "How could you, Jer? How could you?" Jerry struggled to respond, but his throat was tight. Actually, I'm an independent, but... Sylvia began walking away while waving him off. "Sometimes I split the ticket, but I voted for Obama." Jerry tried to recover, but it was too late. Sylvia had already walked away. The restaurant returned to normal, but Jerry felt gloomy. It was Chico, the cook, who brought out Jerry's food. "Hey, Jerry, he's okay. I'm Republican too. Nixon, Reagan." Chico winked and pumped his fist in solidarity. He disappeared behind the swinging kitchen door before Jerry could respond. The omelet was good, and Jerry felt his spirits rise. He looked around as he ate with his new improved vision. Sylvia was talking with another waitress across the restaurant. He noticed that the shirt she was wearing was filthy, and her hair looked unwashed too. These glasses are a mixed blessing, thought Jerry. Back on the street, Jerry's mood was happy once again. Putting the unfortunate events of breakfast behind him, he was soon walking at a swift pace while whistling the theme song of the Brady Bunch. Crossing Wacker Drive as if he was a contestant in the Olympic 20K walking event, Jerry was at work within minutes. His office was a bustle as usual, and Murray Finkel greeted him. "Hey, Jer, didn't know you were taking the morning off. I suggested we shut the place down till you got in." Murray put both hands over his stomach and doubled over in a mock belly laugh. It was but one of his many annoying habits. "New glasses, Jer?" asked Murray. "They make you look really intelligent. Even fooled me." He did the fake belly laugh again. Jerry made no reply as he made his way to his desk. His cubicle was identical to the other 29 in the large office. There was the sound of phones ringing, many conversations, the earnest clicking of keyboards. Jerry was dismayed to find his voicemail full and 20 new emails. As he looked around the office, Jerry realized that he could see everything with perfect clarity. Murray entered his cubicle and pulled up a chair. "Hey, Jer, you missed a meeting this morning. It was about the need to increase revenue. I made a couple of suggestions, but I was wondering if you had any thoughts." Jerry had been sliding into a foul mood because of all the work that had piled up, but Murray's question had re-energized him. "Actually, yes. Thanks for reminding me. I was going to turn this in this morning," said Jerry, as he pulled a pile of papers from his lower desk drawer. The pages were filled with tables, text, and graphs. He handed them to Murray. "As you know," Jerry began, "we continually send service personnel to customer sites to do equipment maintenance and software upgrades. If we bundle some additional services at a discount and provide the services during normally scheduled visits, the profits could be significant." Murray studied the report, his brow furrowed, and his bottom lip stuck out with an exaggerated expression of serious thought. "This is good. This is very good, Jer." Jerry continued. "Since the techs are going there for visits anyway, the additional services could be a real moneymaker, even if they were heavily discounted. It's a win-win for everyone." Murray smiled broadly. "Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Jer." It was then that Jerry noticed how close-set and shifty Murray's eyes were. He snatched back his report and returned it to the lower desk drawer. "I have to turn this in first thing in the morning," he thought. The afternoon flew by, and by 4:50, Jerry was all caught up. Activity in the office was winding down for the day when Mr. Binder, the office manager, strode to the front of the room and held up his hand. Everyone, your attention, please." Mr. Binder waited for the office to grow silent. Traffic sounds from the street were the only noise that could be heard. "As you know from this morning's meeting," he began solemnly, "corporate is looking at profitability at each branch office carefully. Chicago is a great market, but it's also a very expensive place to do business." Binder paused for dramatic effect. The tension in the room was palpable. Larry Finster wanted desperately to use his rescue inhaler and struggled to suppress the urge. "But I have some good news," Binder continued. His expression shifted from somber to sunny. "Tell him, Murray." All eyes were now on Murray Finkel, who was smiling broadly as he stepped forward. He projected an air of confidence, but for the first time Jerry noted that Murray bore a close resemblance to a weasel. "I've developed a plan, a simple plan, that if implemented properly will ensure the future of this office," said Murray. "Since we're already sending service personnel to customer sites." What followed was nearly a verbatim account of the idea that Jerry had shared earlier that afternoon with Murray. He was stunned. He was speechless. Jerry nearly lost his composure, but didn't want to create a scene. At 5 o'clock, Murray tried to make a quick exit by using the congratulatory crowd that had formed around him as a shield as he made his way to the office door. Jerry forced his way through the throng and caught up with Murray at the door. "What's the big idea, Murray?" he demanded. "That was my idea." "What can I say, Jer? Great minds think alike. I've been considering this plan for a while." Murray did the mock belly laugh again as Jerry seethed and clenched his fists. There was an opening in the crowd, and Murray shot through the gap and made for the stairs. Jerry was steamed as he rode the elevator in silence. His mind traveled over the many other instances in the past where Murray had stolen ideas under the pretext of great minds thinking alike. Why didn't I see it before, he thought. A voice came from behind. That was a great idea about bundling services, don't you think? It was Finster. Yeah, great, said Jerry, dejectedly. Got some new glasses, huh, Jer? They make you look really intelligent. Deep in thought, Jerry didn't reply. As he rode the blue line towards Wicker Park, Jerry felt depressed and stared out the window. Why? Why didn't I see it before? He sighed heavily. Exiting the car, he tried to change his mood. He could see the back of his building from the platform. Almost home, he thought. I'll make some good coffee and watch the news. As he descended the stairs, his mood brightened. By the time his feet reached the sidewalk, Jerry was singing the theme song to Gilligan's Island. Glancing to his right while walking, he noticed two fixtures of the neighborhood beneath the L platform. In an overstuffed leather couch sat Freddie and Frankie, both drinking venti lattes. They looked like a matching set of bookends as they wore the same attire, including two identically battered Cubs baseball caps. Even their scraggly gray beards were alike. Although they had no fixed address, Freddie and Frankie were considered members of the community. Neighbors referred to them as habitationally challenged. They attended block parties, neighborhood watch meetings, and the coffees at the alderman's office, where they would share their insights while pocketing bagels and office supplies. Today, they wore the air of uncrowned princes. Hey, guys, said Jerry. Mr. Cullen, replied Freddie loftily, as a lord might acknowledge a retainer. Frankie nodded with solemnity. Nice couch, observed Jerry. I have one just like it. A generous gift from a new neighbor, said Freddie. And gratefully accepted, said Frankie. They often finished each other's sentences. Jerry smiled and turned to walk away when a great rattle arose. He stopped in his tracks, immediately realizing his error. Jerry then stepped back towards the two homeless men who were shaking 7-Eleven Big Gulp cups containing coins furiously. They eyed him closely as he opened his wallet and deposited a bill in each cup. The shaking slowed to half speed until Jerry placed another bill in each cup, whereupon the rattling ceased. They watched as Jerry headed home, looked at one another and shrugged their shoulders in unison. What a day, sighed Jerry as he entered the lobby of his building. As he slipped the key into the lock of his front door, he heard voices inside. That's great. Now I'm being burglarized. What else is going to go wrong today? Then he heard a station promo for Chicago's classic rock station, and Glenn Frey began to sing Tequila Sunrise. God, I hate the Eagles, thought Jerry as he entered his condo. His girlfriend, Abby, was standing on a short ladder, measuring the window with a tape measure. Hey, sweetie, what are you doing up there? He asked breezily. There you are. I was wondering when you would get in, she said. I hope you don't mind that I let myself in. I knew where you hid the spare key, and I wanted to surprise you. I was beginning to worry that you stopped at that nasty old Randolph Union Club. She climbed down the ladder cautiously and scuttled over to offer Jerry her cheek. Abby was pretty, but plump. With medium brown eyes and light brown hair, she looked like a model from a women's plus-size catalog. Though she was actually quite bright, Abby's mannerisms were charming and bubbly, but they also made her appear to be cute but dumb. It isn't nasty or old, and all my friends go there, said Jerry, trying not to sound ruffled. Anyway, what's the surprise? Well, began Abby, her hands clasped behind her back as a schoolchild about to recite a poem. The other night, when we were out at the Dumbledore, she began slowly, with precision. Yes, I remember, interrupted Jerry, to let her know that he was keeping up and that she could go a little faster. It was a mistake, as Jerry should have known from experience. Abby would tell it her way, in her own time, and there was no way around it. When we were at the Dumbledore, she repeated, to discourage any future interruptions, I could tell that you wanted to tell me something. I did? Yes. I could tell that you wanted to tell me that I should move in with you so that my job search wouldn't seem so pressing. I did? Yes, you did, said Abby. You did, didn't you? Doubt and a little hurt crept into her voice as she now considered the possibility that she had presumed incorrectly. Of course, said Jerry, recovering quickly while simultaneously considering the implications. He wasn't sure that he was ready for this new arrangement, but he liked Abby very much and couldn't bear the thought of her feelings being hurt. Trying though she might be, she was very sweet and had a tender heart. She was smiling now and fluttering her eyelids as she often did when especially pleased. She was about to speak when a disturbance outside caught their attention. Voices from the back were chanting Jerry's name, just like on the Springer Show. Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. They walked to the back window to see what the commotion was. Freddie and Frankie were standing beside the leather couch that they had been seated on earlier. Jumping up and down on the couch was Dante, one of the neighborhood juvenile delinquents. The men clapped their hands and shouted Jerry's name in unison with Dante's jumps. I came over this afternoon to get measurements for curtains, because you know how I like... Jerry had turned to listen to Abby's explanation when something else seized his attention. Hey, where did this furniture come from, and where's my couch? Said Jerry with equal parts of surprise and distress. Oh, that couch, Abby replied dismissively. My sectional goes much better in this room. That old couch was so uncomfortable anyway. 2 of your neighbors helped carry it out. Wasn't that nice of them? Jerry looked out the window again. Now 3 of the neighborhood kids were jumping up and down on his couch, and a crowd had gathered. It was growing dark, so someone had lit a fire in a barrel. It gave the scene a cheery glow, and those assembled joined in chanting Jerry's name while enjoying the good fellowship. Abby was still speaking, but Jerry had not heard her. Now he refocused. Jerry, are you listening? I said the semester ends in May. What? Said Jerry. I said the semester ends in May and the dorms close. So Jason, you remember Jason, he will be coming back from DeKalb. He'll only be here every other week. The rest of the time he'll stay with his dad. She paused. He will need to practice here, though. Practice what? Inquired a still somewhat distracted Jerry. His band. You remember. We saw them at the community center. Someone said they had a monolithic bass line, whatever that is. Yeah, I remember. And they have a new name. The Demented Children. At least they got that right, muttered Jerry. Abby was talking again, but Jerry was barely listening. Turning from the window, he took off his new glasses, replacing them with the old pair that he had in his shirt pocket. Out of sight, he said softly. Out of mind.